Hi, so my name is Velma Veloria, and I'm the coordinator of the a coalition on immigrants, refugees, and communities of color.
Hi, my name is Clarnece Gunn, and I'm a member of the Coalition Immigrants, Refugees, and Communities of Color, CIRCC. I'm a member of several other organizations in the African American community and bring that aspect to the organization as well.
My name is Bereket Kiros, and I am an immigrant from Ethiopia, and I am part of CIRCC, Coalition of Immigrants and Refugees and Communities of Color.
So we got started about 4 years ago as the Coalition United for Progress, right?
And it was the Unified People of Color, and we had a candidate forum during the last Gregoire campaign, and we began contacting elected officials to get them to respond to issues and questions, concerns of the communities of immigrants, refugees, and communities of color to make sure that they heard our issues and began addressing them. And not only during the election season, but during the course of the legislative session as well. And from there, we turned into CIRCC, the current organization that we have.
So the Coalition of Immigrants, Refugees, and Communities of Color, the name was changed about 3 years ago. We still continue the annual candidates forum, but we've grown. The coalition consists of many different organizations: the Eritrean community, the Filipino community of Seattle, of which I am a part, the Ethiopian community. There are also Vietnamese, Cambodian, Korean Americans, and American-born young people.
What attracted me 2 years ago about this organization is the diversity of its members. And I believe as an immigrant myself, especially from the Black American struggle and Filipino being here and the Hispanic community being here so long, we can learn and exchange some ideas and experiences because as an immigrant, all of us have the same issue. So the experience of both organizations, or to say in the short, the Hispanic, the Filipino, the Black American struggle, we can learn from it, and then we can consolidate our struggle in a civic engagement. So this is the thing that attracts me, and we are working together with determination, with cooperation, and we are trying to engage in more social activities that changes our lives.
So many of the issues that we have taken up besides the candidates forum, we were invited to go to Olympia to speak on the issues that are of our concern. So for example, one of the issues that we were advocating for was an increase in the Housing Trust Fund. The Housing Trust Fund is a pot of money from the state that will provide funding to build housing. So it could either be for rental or for home ownership. One of the organizations that work with us is HomeSite. And HomeSite is an organization that helps first-time low-income home buyers get into homes. And it was really important for us that we had money for organizations like HomeSite that help us gain access to home ownership.
We also worked on issues around education. We're trying to make sure that everyone is prepared for career or college beyond high school. And so we went to Olympia again and testified on bills dealing with disaggregated data, making sure that the information that the school districts have and report out to the communities is broken down into useful segments by different population groups, so it's useful to see what the needs are for the Ethiopian community versus the African community versus the Hispanic community. And by doing that, then we can look and see how we can help each of those to become more successful in terms of achieving academic excellence and achievement moving forward.
One of the best or one of the highlights we have done so far that I am proud of is when the University of Washington sanitation workers were, some of them who have worked over 30 years, they imposed second language proficiency, and they were forcing them to take exam. If they don't pass the exam, probably they will expel them. So we take immediate action by calling to elected officials and the university, and the university backed down, and they immediately went back to their job with a full payment. So we are concerned many social issues because of immigrants. They face so many discrimination in labor force, and also they work many hours, which we are trying to legislate that they have to curb.
So, it's really important for all of us, people of color, the immigrants and refugees, to get involved politically, right? And the reason I want to give you an example, because from my experience as a former elected official, if we get somebody in office, that person can help us create change. Somebody that looks like us and thinks like us can also be a role model for our communities. It's really important then that people begin to register to vote. They have to register in order to vote for people who they think will fight for their issues. It's also important to vote because if somebody from our community who thinks like us wants to run for office, they can do it with the support of our communities. So I really encourage, number one, for people to register to vote, and then when the ballots come, that they should fill it out, mail it in, and vote.
So October the 17th, from 10 to 4 in the afternoon, at the Eritrean Community Center, there will be a candidates forum. All the candidates that are running for Seattle City Council positions will be interviewed. Most of them, almost all of them, have RSVP'd and will be there. We're also interviewing some Port of Seattle candidates, as well as the candidates running for the Director of Elections for King County. All of these are important positions because as city councilmen or persons, they have the power to make changes in terms of issues that impact immigrants, refugees, and communities of color here in the city of Seattle. The Director of Elections position, that position has the power to help engage and expand the participation in the electoral process, making sure that everyone gets a ballot, is registered, and gets to vote, and returns their ballot. So those are some important positions, as well as the Port of Seattle in terms of the hiring and treatment of all of their employees of all races and creeds to make sure they're treated fair and equitably.
No matter, CIRCC believes no matter where we came, where we are ended up is the most important element. As immigrants, we have the same issue and the same concern. The only thing that we try to make a change is when we participate fully in this political dialogue at a grassroots level. Vote, number one. In order to vote, we have to use our civic duty. We have to put elected officials who can listen our concern. And those are the things that propel us as a CIRCC organization to engage, and especially the youth. The future belongs to them. The youth, we hire 6 youths with our fund in order to do this civic engagement from our organizations, and we are looking to do more. So the youth, especially our effort to include in this participation, is not limited.
So, to end the show, I think that's where we're going. I just want to be able to say, please make sure that you come to the Candidates Forum October 17th from 10 o'clock to 4 p.m. We have lots of food for lunch and breakfast if you want to come. Plus, we've got all these different candidates. It provides access so that they can't take us for granted. When you see the people there in that audience, you will feel so powerful. You want to get involved. So please, join us October 17th. It's going to be at the Eritrean Association, 1528 South Valentine Place. and that's between Massachusetts and Rainier.
And also, I would like to take this opportunity to SIA, Ethio Youth Media Coordinator. So much appreciation, and I hope we're going to engage in this in the future via in panel discussion or with other communities to express our concern.
Thank you to the youth media. We really appreciate you being here, and also for taking an interest in the
And
issues.
initiative.
Yeah, and the initiative to do this.
It's about engagement, empowerment, and building equitable communities. We're here to make sure that our youth, our young people have fair and equitable opportunities for education. We want to be engaged in the political process to make a difference, to have equitable communities, to get what resources and supports we need to become successful in our communities and neighborhoods to make it better for all of Seattle, all of King County, and all of Washington State. We look forward to you coming, learning about CIRCC, being engaged in the political process, and helping us to make an equitable community.
Oh, yes. So we do follow up. So, for example, at the end of each candidate's forum or candidate questions, we ask, when you get elected, will you meet with us 60 days after you take office? And then they say yes. So one of the things that we were able to do with that is we followed up with the issue regarding the creation of the Task Force on Immigrant and Refugees on a King County level. That's one.
If I may add also, so far from the mayor all the way after they were elected, they came and they kept their promise within 60 days to introduce with their new staff and also to create a dialogue what they can do for us in the future.
One area that we've recently begun to explore is environmental justice in terms of the impact that unfair living environments have on communities of color, immigrants, and refugees based on where we're able to afford to live. We're beginning to look at those and other types of issues as well to make sure that it's fair and equitable in terms of how people are treated and provide them the resources to be able to overcome whatever issues, problems they may have. So we're dealing with a number of matters across the course of the year, and via MMRTI, we hope to be able to bring this kind of information to you on a regular basis.
And also, the last but not least, we are also engaged in discipline matters when it comes to immigrants and Black African. The discipline level is much higher as opposed to the white students. So those are issues still on stake, and we are working on it with other communities.
One of the other issues that I'm really passionate about and that I have spoken with the Eritrean Women's Club about is the issue of human trafficking. I know that it's something that is really impacting our immigrant and refugee communities, and also, the people of color here. So it's another issue that we're starting to get involved in. So we're hoping that we can continue our conversation.
And also being so much lucky, Velma has been spearheading this issue for so long, and she's been giving lectures across different communities. And I will ask my Ethiopian community and others to take advantage of Velma, her knowledge about this issue.
We're better together, so we look forward to all of you coming and participating in the upcoming events starting on October the 17th.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.